right?
I'll show you how it's done. Shazam!
Welcome to Underdeveloped, everyone. The channel where two film lovers, two students of the game, sit down together, watch a whole bunch of content ranging from shows, movies, books, whatever, and get ridiculed and mocked over the internet for. Today we're covering or reviewing Black Widow. This is the 24th millionth installment of the MCU franchise. And this is the movie that's probably long awaited because people were talking about a Black Widow movie forever.
Yeah.
So this movie was directed by Kate Shortland. She's pretty she's pretty unknown. She done a couple of indies.
Yeah, she's not a big director. She's not somebody that we're familiar with.
This is easily her biggest break, which is
Yeah.
great. You know, I mean, this is a good start for
absolutely.
for
Like
career,
that's the one thing I like about these superhero movies is that at least
Yeah.
big studios are giving newer, younger, fresher directors a chance to really make a name for themselves.
They pretty much discovered Russo brothers, and I think they're pretty good directors. And this movie stars Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, Rachel Weisz, who ironically is the star of the show that I'm working on, David Harbour, who's really grown on me since the Green Hornet, and of course a cameo by William Hurt as Ross. So let's get into this movie, Nick.
The movie opens with this American with this, and FX is the American style opening where we have this family. Like they seem like a normal-ish family at first, but then you grow to realize, oh no, these are Russian spies, because of course they are.
They're definitely American. The Americans.
Yes, the Americans. Not soon after, they're just on the run. Like they have this chase scene in the night where you have fucking Alexei trying to rifle on top of a car. It's actually pretty epic shit. And not too long after that, and this scene itself, this expands and just gets bigger and bigger for a while, like to a point where they're on top of a plane and they're making this very daring escape. And eventually they make their way to Cuba, where they run into the big boss, the bad guy,
Dreykov. Yeah, Dreykov. It's Dreykov.
Yeah, Dreykov.
Think they want Soldier Boy. Dreykov. Not
Yes.
Dreykov.
Yes, and that's where we meet Dreykov for the first time, interestingly. And after that, the girls are eventually separated from their family, and they're both going into the Widow program. And then we cut to years later, where immediately after events of Civil War, like Ross is after Black Widow because of the Sokovia Accords, and then her sister is off doing some other shit where she was mind controlled, but now she isn't mind controlled anymore.
Yeah.
And
that's when her story begins.
Yeah, and her story begins. And these two stories begin where Black Widow is sent something from her sister, which is basically just the vials of the serum that she had.
Yeah.
And then she goes all the way back to Budapest to meet up with her, and she's like, "Wait, you brought this shit here? I said to you, wait, why you bring this back here?" But this kickstarts them this pretty much bonding. They're kind of sort of family, and they're getting back together again, and that's it.
Let's simplify a little bit more.
Okay.
Just tighten it.
Okay. And along the way, these two sisters kickstart their adventure to free the other Black Widows, and in that process involved reconnecting with all their other family members, mainly the parents from the beginning of the movie. We get to see Alexei again. We now know that he was the Red Guardian, the Soviet Captain America, and they actually break him out of jail in this really heartless scene where they just leave a whole bunch of people to die. And then they go find their mother, and she's up to some crazy shit, and then she eventually leads them to the bad guys, and that's where, and then there's this whole giant action scene, and that's basically the plot of the movie.
Well, it's more of like the plot synopsis. So that's pretty much the story. It kind of gives me a Winter Soldier vibes, low key, in the fact that nobody has superpowers and it's just like a mission to free people almost, like because it was Hydra in Winter Soldier, and mind control in Winter Soldier. This is mind control and war undertones and freeing people. You know what I mean?
I guess.
So it does. It's not exactly like, but it has similar. You know what I mean? Like tropes, I guess.
Why don't you just get the Taskmaster talk out of the way?
Okay, sure. So
Because what do you think about Taskmaster?
Not okay. So Taskmaster is the main villain.
Kind of.
Pretty dope fight sequences with her. I love the fact that she pretty much uses and pretty much she's a she in this.
Yeah.
Which is not really
Very
nice for the
different.
comics.
Very different character from the comics.
They pretty much Mandarin it. The only thing that's similar is that they have the same suit and
powers
and similar,
basically.
very similar. Other than that, it's a completely different story. Just to
Yeah, they're the
use
same.
use a comic book villain within this character within this character's storyline, and you have to make this character tie into her in some way.
Yeah, that make the character tie into her, and
Yeah,
they also have to like make this version significantly weaker so Black Widow could actually fight them.
Yeah, exactly. They also made Taskmaster Dreykov's daughter,
Yes, they did.
of course, and she had her own crew of Black Widows and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what the fuck they have to do.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, like, I'm really not a huge fan of those changes, but I feel like they could have done something really good with them.
Yeah.
But because
it didn't really lead to a place that was that interesting for me.
No, like really, I feel like it all would have been worth it if the ending if their end fight was different.
Yeah,
Because how it happens in the movie is that they have this fight. Scarlett Johansson it's a very predictable outcome. Scarlett Johansson just like uses the serum and frees her, and she just stops. I'm like, I feel like I would have liked it a lot more if she used the serum and did nothing. Like if Taskmaster was legitimately pissed because keep in mind Natasha was the one who blew her face up. She made her look like fucking Freddy Krueger, and now she has to live in the suit for the rest of her life. So if she was still pissed enough to fight even after that, I think that would have been way more compelling.
Yeah, I agree. I do love the characters in this movie. That is what saved this movie for me.
Yeah, like the family especially, they're all really good.
The family. The only thing that I really like about this movie is the family.
Same.
The daughter, oh my god, she's gorgeous and she's hilarious. You know what I mean? Oh my god. You know what I mean? Like she just talking about like, oh, the superhero pose. When I saw that shit, I laughed my ass off.
Yeah.
But she was mimicking Scarlett Johansson's Natasha's pose when she's doing her Black Widow thing. You know what I mean? And for her to like, that to me, that just showed off her personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's beautiful. She kicks ass and she's personality. Three-dimensional. I would love to see her in future stuff.
I would.
She has a lot to offer. David Harbour brings it. He's hilarious.
He's great in this.
With his fake Captain America shit.
His fake rivalry of Captain America is just fantastic.
And Rachel Weisz's character, she's a tactical bitch, you know what I mean? Who's kind of cold and shit like that.
She is, but she's like, I feel like she's what she needs to balance out the family.
To me, the movie should have been centered on the family itself.
Yeah, there should have been more. There should have been like there are a fair amount of family scenes that do focus that, but there should have been more.
Which is really good.
There should have been even more. I would have liked it.
That should have been the central focus of the story.
Honestly, I know this movie is going for a kind of sort of James Bond thing, and I know that because they showed a little bit of James Bond on TV in the movie. But I think this movie would have been a lot better if it was like less James Bondy, more like just like The Americans, or like a more upbeat version
because
of
this
The
is unique. Because this is about Russia and KGB. I mean, take that opportunity to really get into that.
Yeah, like
get culture down.
Get really dirty and fucked up with this shit.
Get geopolitical. Fuck it. Get socio-political.
Sure.
Do it. You know what I mean? Fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
You already established the shit in the beginning. Roll with that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Don't feel you have to fall within the parameters of a MCU movie.
Yeah. Like,
don't be afraid to divert. And that's one thing I did fuck about. Sorry to talk over you.
No,
but that's like the one thing I did dig about Black Panther. They kind of made his own movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really did.
So you know what I mean? Why not do the same?
Yeah, I like the geopolitical aspect of Black Panther. I would have liked to see it in Black Widow. Like in Black Widow, it would have been really good because with me, like a lot of this Russian KGB stuff, all of it just feels like set dressing, aside from the beginning.
Exactly. It's like wrapped in a nice little stylized bow instead of like actually get into that. You know, especially with a villain like Dreykov and shit like that. Like get into it.
Yeah.
Dreykov was alright as a villain, but he wasn't really a presence for me in my opinion.
He really wasn't. Like he appears a little bit in the beginning,
and
a little bit at the end.
And his name is literally throughout the whole fucking movie. You know what I mean? It's like, and to me, I didn't really feel his presence. I didn't care about him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like it would have been a lot better if we saw more of at the very least, we saw what more of the Black Widows are doing. In that case, it would give more context to what Dreykov is actually doing.
flashbacks, actually. You know what I mean? Establishing them a little more.
Some more flashbacks.
Especially with Dreykov and
that would have been nice.
And how that whole mind control thing and the whole smelly thing even happened.
Yeah, I mean that's what. That's a good scene that they had in WandaVision, but we could have had something similar here.
And I mean, Black Widow is like the most secretive character in the MCU. You don't want a self-reflective movie if you're gonna go. That's the whole point of them wanting a Black Widow movie, was to have a self-reflective deep dive into her psyche and her mental state. You know what I mean? Why she's the way she is. That's the whole point of this movie. The whole point of the movie, even coming into existence, and I feel they only delivered half of it a little bit. They didn't
Exactly.
really get into what they really could have been.
I really would have appreciated if they like really explored Black Widow's morality a little more.
Exactly.
Because there's so many opportunities. Like there's so many times in this movie alone where she just like
did something.
kills tons of people.
And then we had a whole thing where her sister was talking about you killed this fucking chick.
Yeah. She killed a little girl.
Yeah, she killed a little girl.
Or at least she thought she did.
Well, yeah, she blew up a fucking thing.
Yeah, she blew up a building
And
that
she,
had
like, she
Jacob's
had
daughter
to.
in it. Yeah.
And doing the Avengers thing is pretty much makes up for that shit. But and the sister kind of broke her balls a little bit. But I'm like, yo, really have some real conversations
Yeah.
about that. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great opportunity that they just missed
Yeah.
out on.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just these movies nowadays, man, especially superhero movies, they don't really get into it. What made Dark Knight so good is that they got into that psychology of the characters, and they actually went into shit.
Like I do,
you know?
that's one thing I always appreciate about the movies that they actually bothered to question the morality of
Exactly.
Batman.
That's the whole point
and
of
how
Dark
practical
Knight.
it is.
The whole point of Dark Knight is morality and chaos and order and what it means to be good and bad and what's the point of being bad and good. That's the whole point of Joker and Batman's dynamic, and that was what drew me. Even back then, that's what drew me into that thought process. That fucking those ideas.
Yeah, like
those themes.
like that's the
kept me
yeah,
interested.
that's what makes that movie for me. It's
This
the best
movie,
part
this
of it.
movie should have been theme ridden. You know what I mean? Like, like
It
there's
should've.
so much opportunity for this movie to be fucking great, and to me, they just didn't really explore it. Let's get to the scores.
Yeah,
This
get
score.
down to scores.
So this movie just didn't really live up to its potential, but it was good. It had a lot of enjoyable moments. It had a lot of good characters, and had some good dynamics between the family. So with that alone, but forgettable action sequences. I mean, unrealistic sequences that doesn't make any sense. Unrealistic physics, but I mean, it is what it is. But you know, all that contributes. So I mean, this score for me gets a 2.6.
I'm a little more nice on this than you. I'm going to give it
2.7.
I give it like a 2.8, something like that. I
We're-
thought it was
we're-
okay.
We're on the same, I suppose.
Yeah, we are. We're roughly the same. I thought it was an okay film. If you want just like, so if you're an MCU fan, then odds are you might have already seen this. You probably already did.
Right.
But if you're on the fence about it, then like, okay, probably don't see it in theaters. But like, if it's on
Disney Plus, if you already paid Disney Plus, just watch it. Yeah.
Well, no. Disney Plus is doing that thing where if you're watching a new movie, you have to pay extra, which is stupid.
But you know, Disney Plus actually isn't that expensive. I think it's actually cheaper than HBO Max. Actually.
No, Disney Plus is, but when you're watching a new movie like, in theaters on Disney Plus, you're paying extra on top of that.
Wait, what do you say? Wait, all right. So Black Widow basically have to. It's
like
if I have Disney Plus, I have to pay.
Yes.
To see. No, what I'm saying is that I get why they're doing it. They're doing it because Disney Plus itself is a lot cheaper than other.
But they're but they're way more pricey on the servers than they are when you go into theaters.
That's so stupid. Why it should be like maybe $15, $20 max.
Yeah, I think it's like 30, 40.
Who would do that? Who's that dumb?
Thank you all for joining us. This
This
has been a great experience. We love talking about movies and crap, even if it's not something we're really not too jazzed about.
I mean, in this game, you're gonna watch movies that you don't care about, or movies that you don't like, or movies you have high expectations going in, and then they let you down. Or you're gonna just watch fucking good movies, great movies, okay movies. It's a spectrum, and we're here for the whole ride. So.
Yep, we're here for every little bit in between. Even movies like this, where I honestly thought it was going to be a lot worse, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I think that's why it was nice to me because we expected it to be a lot worse.
Oh yeah, I was expecting this.
Me,
crap.
I had a little bit more higher expectations, and I didn't really get it. So, but it wasn't terrible either. It could have been worse.
Oh yeah, it could be a lot worse.
I mean, 2.6, 2.7 is I think is a fair score.
Yeah, somewhere around that area.
Mediocre, pretty much. It's a mediocre
Yeah.
score. And,
It's mediocre, but not horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you're not completely wasting your time if you watch it.
for sure. I mean, it's better than Dark World, I guess.
Oh fuck, much better.
Yeah.
So much better. That movie's crap.
But anyways, that is our review. Hope you enjoy this. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Hit all the links. Do all the shit.
Yeah, like, subscribe, all the things. We'll be seeing you all next time. Peace out.
Yes, from Weekend at Bernie's to Weekend at Bernie's 2 to Weekend at Bernie's 3 Revelations.